my goodness, here we are again, hashtag rise and grind. And normally I go through this whole thing and like, but I'm not going to do that today because I got an incredible guest and I just want to get him in here. So let's go. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you, my friend? How are you, my friend? See, there's no excuse for you not pushing yourself to the next level. In order for you to create a new you must have a new mindset. When teams come together, we can create things that are greater than the sum of all of their parts. Good morning and welcome to hashtag Rise and Grind. I am your host, Glenn Lundy. I am a husband to one, a father to 8, and the creator of what is going to be the #1 most watched morning show in the world. It is 5:30 a.m. and I hope that you are ready to rise and grind. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you, my friend? How are you, my friend? Dude, today is Friday. That's right. Today is Friday, August 20th, 2021. And what's crazy is today is the very first and the very last time it'll ever be Friday, August 20th, 2021. So I want to make sure we make the absolute most. And I do mean the absolute most of this absolutely incredible, incredible day. I'm coming to you live from Virginia, where I've had the opportunity to spend the last couple days with the amazing Carter Myers Automotive Group and their incredible team. Danelle Delgado. I have been here with my friend Liza, and we've been pouring into these superhumans. They've been pouring into us. It's a synergetic relationship. I absolutely love it. And today I get to spend more time with them, so super excited about that. This has been my first week back from vacation. I was literally back home a day and a half, I think it was, or 2 days, then got to hit the road and come here and spend time with these amazing superhumans here. And so it's been amazing. And this whole week has been like just kind of crazy and super impactful in a lot of different ways. Breakfast with Champions has expanded to where it's now 15 hours a day programming, going from I can't even say it. Going from 5 o'clock in the morning until 8 o'clock at night, which has been crazy, right? Many new faces have been added to our Breakfast with Champions lineup over there. And basically, just the winds of what's next are in the air. And as we go to new levels at Carter Myers Automotive, as we go to new levels in my automotive business, as we go to new levels in Breakfast with Champions, we go to all these different new levels. Obviously, there's new trials, there's new things that we face, there's new things that we're up against. And a guy who knows a whole lot about this is this guy named Sunil, man. He's had tons of trials in his life. He's battled and gone up against the biggest things in business and marketing that you can think about. And he's found ways to intuitively and through branding grow his career to close to $20 million simply through intuition, branding. He's just this business savvy guy. Him and I have had multiple conversations before, and I love him, and I'm excited to bring him to you. So I'm going to bring him in here in just a second. Before I do, you guys know what we got to do on this show, right? You know what we got to do on this show, all right? We got to do a little dancing this morning. Now, Sunil, I don't think you can hear the music, and that's okay. But you might be popping over there. I know you're excited to be here with us today, so I'm excited to see you. I love that. That's so funny. Hey, for those of you that know, those of you that don't know, this is the part of the show. We need you to hit that share button. All right, we need you to hit that share button. Whether you're watching on Facebook Live, maybe you're watching the replay, share this sucker out. Maybe you're listening to the podcast, wherever you're tuning in. If you're over on Clubhouse, go ahead and hit the plus button in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. Whatever it is, let's share it out. Let's get the word out, because I believe if we can change the way people start their day, it'll make a massive impact in their life and on this planet. I truly believe that. And sometimes all it takes to change the way somebody starts their day is for you to hit that share button. All right? This is also the part of the show where I need you to get that body in motion. An object in motion tends to stay in motion. An object at rest tends to stay at rest. So let's get rocking and rolling, right? Let's get this train moving down the tracks. If you're running, run a little bit faster. If you're working out, get a little bit more weight. If you're laying in bed, get your butt up. Let's go. We got stuff to do today. Are you kidding me? Come on. That's what I'm talking about. There it is. Fair enough. Fair enough. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, all right, all right. It's also part of the show where I want to say good morning to you, and I want you to say good morning to me. Whether you're watching live, replay, wherever, all right? I want you to say what's up. So I see Tamra. I see Bernita. Pull up my Facebook peeps real quick. I gotta pull up my Facebook peeps. There they are. All right, Ramon, I see you. Kimberly, I see you. I see Monica and Linda and TM and Navia. What's up, Dakota? I see Jeff the Entrepreneur. I see Crystal Sagard. I see Jurgen, I believe that is in the house this morning. I also see Debbie is up in here today. How you doing, Debbie? Great to see you. Who else? Who else we got? We got tons of people over in Clubhouse. Gregory and Brian and Bonnie. There we go. Now I'm pulling up my Facebook peeps. I got Brad Smith and Jojo Laricia. We got Janice Mullings and Ella Matheson, Christina Howard and Lolita with the T. We got Rodney Rock Hatfield and Teresa Joyce, Kareem Care, Cheryl Alexander. All kinds of folks up in here on hashtag Rise and Grind. Super excited to introduce you to my friend Sunil. We'll be bringing him in just a second. I'm going to also introduce you to some of my other friends live in person November 5th, 6th, and 7th in Lexington, Kentucky. That's right, you heard it here first, folks. We're going to be celebrating the 1,000th episode of hashtag Rise and Grind. Can you believe that? 1,000 episodes of hashtag Rise and Grind. We're going to be celebrating that in Lexington, Kentucky, November 5th, 6th, and 7th at the Grow Your Business for God's Sake event. It's going to be incredible. If you haven't gotten your tickets yet for that, you need to go to growforgod.com. That's right, growforgod.com. Or just go to glenlundy.com. Go to my website if you want to. You'll find a link to them there too. Just go get your tickets. I don't care how you get them. Just go get your tickets. Meet up with me live in person, Lexington, Kentucky, November 5th, 6th, and 7th. Fair enough? Fair enough. Beautiful. All right. Sunil, what do you think about all this going on this morning? It's crazy, isn't it?
I am loving it. The energy is incredibly through the roof, and wow, it is amazing. And looking so forward to dropping some knowledge bombs today on intuition and how it is so important when it comes to branding, especially these days.
Yeah, totally. 100%. It is important, and I appreciate that. And I want to check with my Clubhouse peeps. Did you guys just hear Sunil while he was talking, or did you not? You did. Okay, good. So you don't need to unmute on Clubhouse.
Excellent.
Okay. So excellent. You're on the stage, but don't unmute, and that's even better. The sound will sound even better. So yes, let's talk about all this that's going on right now. I asked you before in the green room as we were setting up all of these things. I'm like, man, dude, there's a lot of things going on in the world. There's a lot of noise out there right now. Obviously, media everywhere, news type stuff. You got politics type stuff. You've got COVID type stuff. You got all of these things. Like, as a brand, how are we supposed to break through, all this noise? How do we compete with all this noise that's going on out there?
Absolutely, and it's very very important because you are absolutely right. There's so much noise, and more people are very savvy in cutting through what they should be listening to and what really values them. And as much as there's a lot of sort of problems in the world, what's really happened is that individuals and businesses have really gotten down to saying, okay, what really matters. So from a consumer perspective, customer perspective, what really matters to me, especially during this really troubled time as an employee who's coming in saying, who do I really want to work for? Who stands, upholds values that I have in the workplace? And when it comes to companies, they're saying, okay, what do my products and services actually deliver in terms of the goods and the values that I can deliver to my customers? And how can I treat my employees better? And when it comes to intuition, which is what we're going to talk about today, that is a trusted relationship that is telling you everybody's got that gut feeling when they walk into a room. They say, something's right or wrong. When they meet somebody, they say, I don't trust that person, or I do. That is the same type of trust that you need to develop, intuitively led, that a business has to tap into if they want to rise above the noise, if they want to be a brand of choice to those that matter. And the research shows that that trust happens, believe it or not, in 33 milliseconds. By the time somebody
Mm.
exchanges time, effort, or money, that takes up to 14 seconds. That's all, folks. That's all you have. And when you have that 14 seconds, you have a two-way trusted relationship. You have true collaboration when it comes to a business. Then there is no competition because 99.9% of the competition is not doing what you're doing. And that's the power of leveraging intuition.
Mm-mm-mm. Leveraging intuition, using this word trust, right? Which obviously right now, with more than anything, people are looking for what is true, right? What is true? Who
Yes.
can we believe in? How do we trust? So how do we do that? How do you build trust with uh, a customer, a person in relationship? How do you build trust in 14 seconds? Is that what you said? I got 14 seconds to build your trust. How do I do that?
So the first starts with you. And so if you have a message, and we'll talk about it from a personal perspective, who do you stand for? What are your values? And that's very, very important. And how do you treat other people? You got to make sure you're not wearing a mask, right? So anytime you wear some kind of a mask, you're trying to be someone you're not. The intuition of others is going to pick that up. So when you look at what your intuition is, and there's things called intuitive signals that tell someone whether you're being trusted or not. And there's also four types of intuition that work together. So, and I'll quickly go through these four
Yeah, 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 yeah. Break
types of
these
intuition very,
down
very
for me.
quickly. So, one of the misconceptions is that intuition is sort of that gut feeling, and some people call it voices from God and coming from the cosmos, and that's great if you define it from that perspective. But what one of the misconceptions is that some people think it's not based on your past learning experience. One of the four types is called experiential intuition. And so, what experiential intuition does is that it looks past in your past at the patterns that you've had and all the learning that you've had, both good and bad, failures, the good things, the experiences, positive and negative, everything that you've had. When you're born, you have anywhere from 5 to 6,000 experiences per day. When you're older, 28 to 35,000 experiences a day. Every single piece of that experience is put into the subconscious area of your brain like a library. And so you have this massive, massive data library of things that have happened in the past that you draw on from your experiences. And so that's the first type. The second type is situational intuition. So whatever intuition you're in, whatever situation you get yourself in, whether you're walking into a room or you're assessing sort of a business situation, your intuition is going to take a look at what's going on in that room to scan to make sure it is safe, that you're seeing what you should be seeing. And if there's something out of the ordinary, then your intuition is going to say something's off here. And the
Mm-hmm.
easiest way I can describe that one is when I was going to look for houses, our first house, my wife and I would walk into a property, and as soon as the doors open, we would instantly know this is not a home. This is just a house. We don't get that warm feeling. That's your situational intuition working for you. The third, which is really important, is called relational intuition. And relational intuition is going to look at that person in front of you or those people, and it's going to assess things like body language, the voice, the tone, even what is written and how it's written in emails. And it's going to assess all of that to see if there's any kind of deception going on. And so it's going to take the other person as a baseline. So if somebody's naturally, say, introverted, or doesn't look at you, then your intuition is going to look at that as a baseline and say, what's the detraction from that baseline that is deceptive in nature? And so that's when your intuition is going to tell you whether you can trust that person or not. And then the ultimate decision is called creative intuition. That's the fourth of the four. And so creative intuition allows you to make that decision either creative or not. And so, for example, if you're eating a sandwich, you're turning left at the lights, for example, your creative intuition is low. It's not very creative. But if it's really different, then your creative intuition is really high. And some people may say you're crazy. Why are you making that decision? But that decision is right for you. And so all four of those types of intuition come together. And what it does is sends you either a positive signal to tell you that that's the right decision to make, or a negative signal, which is to warn you that the decision you're about to make, based on your past history, is not the right one. And so what we all need to do personally, and this is how strengthening your intuition helps, is to be very familiar with those four types of intuition. Make sure that normally we're stronger in one. So you've got to optimize those to make sure you're stronger in all four. And then make sure you take stock or inventory of your positive and negative signals by going through the past. And so, for example, for me, my positive signals are the dots connecting or feeling a flow. And there was one CEO that actually sees an omen on his right shoulder. He's run two multi-million-dollar businesses by this omen that pops up. No shape, no color, it just comes up. And so whatever he's saying, he says yes. And like I said, two multi-million-dollar businesses, one in online shopping or online retail. The other now is in bespoke clothing. And the negative intuitive signals for me, a very particular one, is that I lose my peripheral vision. If something is wrong, my peripheral vision is gone. I've got a huge focus in front. My eyebrows start to cross, and something is not right. That is my first indication that there's something wrong. So that is my first intuitive signal. And I've had one entrepreneur
That's
I interviewed.
interesting, man.
His left earlobe used to pulse. So anytime he got into a business for the wrong reasons, like fame, ego, or money, his left earlobe used to always pulsate with heat. And this is how unique these signals are to every single person. So we could say that, let's say we all get that gut feeling. Like some of the things thrown on social media, I follow that voice, I follow that gut feeling. But the thing is, if you haven't done your homework on those intuitive signals, if that voice is signal number 3, for example, you've already made 2 bad decisions because you haven't taken the time to figure out what signal number 1 and signal number 2 are. And if you've missed those 2 signals, then you've made 2 bad decisions. And those 2 bad decisions could be you just simply stubbing your toe on a wall, or you could be headed towards bankruptcy. You don't know. And so this is why it's so important to make sure that you take stock of what your inventory of signals are, because you want to make sure that you get that first signal, which is kind of a whisper.
So how do I do that? How do I
You
figure
just
out
go
my
to
signal?
everything's based on past behavior, past patterns. So you take a piece of paper and you look at what are the good decisions you made, and list of all the good decisions that you made, what did it feel like in that moment? And you think of personal and professional ones, and you get on the other side of the piece, another piece of paper, what are the bad decisions that you made? And with the bad decisions, what did it feel like in the moment? Those are usually uncomfortable. The thing with the bad decisions or the negative signals is you have to make sure, again, if you got that gut feeling, was that the first bad decision or the third one? And if it was the third one, was there a decision before that led to that third decision? What was there a decision before the second one that led to the second one? So you have to kind of keep going back until you get that original, this is not quite right. And so that's where when you've done that, then you have these inventory of signals. So every decision you make is going to come with some kind of signal. And if you've just missed your chance and you haven't done that right, and you go through a bad situation, then of course you're going to feel bad about it. But that's also a learning opportunity for you, because you got into that bad decision because you missed a signal. So simply add that to your inventory. And then when you've got this robust inventory, you'll never make a bad decision again.
So you're basically creating it. You're creating the inventory real time. We can go back and reflect on some things in the past, but as we just continue to roll and move forward, starting to be more aware, like, hey, that was a really good decision. That felt good. What did my body literally like do? What did I experience? What did I feel? Right.
Yep.
And so knowing this on the other side, obviously a consumer, a potential relationship, a potential partner, all of those things, they're going through these intuitive experiences as well. They might not know that they're going through an experiential intuition, situational intuition, uh, uh, recreational. I'm trying to read my own um,
Relational, relational and
relational. There we
creative.
go. Trying to read my own handwriting here. And the creative. So they don't know that, right? But we're all experiencing this. We're doing this, right? We're making moves and decisions, and these feelings are there. Whether we're responding to them right or not is a whole different story. We've got to understand that. But we're all doing this. So how do I, knowing that these four things exist, how do I make sure that if I'm trying to connect with you, how do I make sure, knowing that you have this intuitiveness, that I trigger your intuitiveness the right way so that I can attract you and you can trust me and you'll come do business with me, or we can go hang out and have a drink, whatever it is that we're searching for.
Yeah, absolutely. And so this is where people come to me to hire my services to do that. So one of the first things I do with the leadership team is I look at strengthening their intuition, and it's truly optimizing those four for themselves, and then getting their inventory of signals correctly in place so that they understand that. Once they're optimized and they have that strength, and then they know how to have those empathetic relationships, and really to align. So when it comes to employees, you're really aligning them with what their intrinsic motivators are. What do the employees care about? And you also have to look at the other side. So once someone understands, hey, listen, I've got these feelings that will tell me if somebody's being deceptive or not. Guess what? So are your employees, and so are your customers. And so if you understand how it's working for you, and when you become deceptive, or you don't treat someone right, or you're putting something out in social media that is not doesn't align with your values, or you're just putting it out to make it nice, flashy, dashy, stop the scroll, but there's nothing down that whole chain of messages that come to your brand. The intuition of others is going to pick that up and say, I don't trust that person. I don't trust that brand. I'm going to spend my hard-earned money elsewhere. Or from an employee's perspective, they walk in, they might have a great interview and say the right things, but as soon as they walk in, their intuition is going, huh, that doesn't jive with their corporate values.
Mm,
That doesn't jive with the core values. That CEO or manager said this, but is doing this. And so these are now triggers to that employee's intuition saying, wow, I don't trust this person. I don't trust this brand. I'm going to now start looking somewhere else for work. And it's just that simple. And when I say it's 33 milliseconds, that's how quick it happens. And we've all been through it, right? How many times have we met someone in a workplace, or a coworker
you
where
just feel it.
you just feel it right away?
Yeah.
Or you look at a brand and you see something, and I see this every single day. I stop the scroll, or so I get pitched on LinkedIn with somebody who wants to do something. Instantly my intuition saying that guy or that brand does not care about me. They don't care
Mhm,
about what I want. They haven't done their due diligence. They haven't created
mhm,
that relationship that I want to make me feel like, yes, this is where I want to spend my money on these
mhm,
products or services. And then you're lost. That customer's done, and they're never going to recommend you again. And the worst case scenario is they're going to tell others to say, yeah, don't buy from that company because of this. And how many companies have put out, some statements, or caught doing something online, and all of a sudden their sales fall, right? And they've lost some customers. So, I mean, here's some laggard indicators that are telling you what happens in real time
yeah.
when these brands just go sideways. And so this is where intuition really comes in. And like I said, 99.99% of the people, companies don't do it. And in fact, I have NDAs signed because obviously I do things where when companies implement this, they basically eliminate the competition because it's true collaboration. And the reason why they eliminate the competition is because when you operate at a higher intuitive level, when the leadership embraces this thing called intuition that everybody's born with and has, the top talent is going to want to spend time with you and produce. And the statistics show when you have a trusted environment, they're 31% more effective. 37% of that ends up on the bottom line. Then you've got customers who are not only spending double because they trust you, but your top customers are spending 3 times more. And guess where those employees and customers are coming from? Your competition. And so when they have you have a trusted environment, The competition is done because now they're getting chump change for people working with them. They got customers, fly by night customers that may buy for them once, but they're finished, right? Because they'll never get the talent back. They'll never get the true customers because you're doing things the right way. And that's how you eliminate the competition. And that's why I have NDAs, because my
I love
my
that.
clients don't want the competitors to know that they've hired me.
Wow, that's incredible, man. And you've been doing this work for how long now?
Oh, 25 years. 25 years.
25
Yeah.
years. I love
And
it,
I've
man.
even taken, like, there was one company that was struggling. It was about 350,000, 400,000 in revenues, struggling. 6 months left in the bank. The one thing I did was I instituted trust, and then we went in 2 years. We went from struggling to $3.5 million and expanding, and this was in the physiotherapy, massage therapy space. And to take a look at their competition, the competition in that space, any physiotherapy slash massage therapy standalone was making anywhere from 250 to 300,000 a year in revenues. Our locations were making 1 million. And so, because of this trust, we caused all these other places around us to fold for the same
Wow.
reasons. We had their employees come, their customers came in droves asking their friends to get treated like a playground because they loved
Right?
our environment. And again, that's based on intuition, trust, and that's the two-way trust that eliminates the competition.
Yeah, trust is the key, man. And I think now more than ever, it's like, golly, who can we trust? I guess. And once we find somebody we trust, we lock in, right? We lock in,
Absolutely,
we become raving
absolutely.
fans. We're like, they're trustworthy, they're over delivering on that, they're reliable, we can count on them. And that's when people become super fans and start spreading the word. Speaking of spreading the word, I want to spread the word that people can connect with you. Where should they go if they want to learn more
Absolutely.
about this?
They
How do we
they
best connect
they
with
can
you?
go to on the Absolutely. On the personal side, they can go to intuitionology.com, and that takes them to a 7-day challenge. People can go through there to find out how to use intuition to surround themselves with the right people. On the business side, you can go to sunilgodse.com, and you give me a call to see if we can. It's a great fit to work together. And if you want to make the investment in making sure that you crush your competition and eliminate them right off the map from your headaches, give me a call, and me and my team will work with you to make sure that it happens.
I
And
love
of course,
that,
there's
man.
all the socials that I'm on as well. So LinkedIn, Twitter, I'm on also on TikTok. I don't dance on TikTok because if I do, then the intuition of others is going to say, man, I'm not sure about this guy. So
Hey, I love that, right? He says, I don't dance on TikTok because it's not real. It's all brand. It
that's
loses
right.
trust,
That's
right?
right.
And that's the key is to stay in your zone of genius, whatever that looks like for you. Don't be a copycat. Be the best version of yourself that you can possibly be. I'm going to ask you one last question and then we're going to pop out of here. So I'm going to put you up on top of a mountain real quick. All right. So just imagine you are on top of a mountain and all of civilization is at the base of the mountain and they're cheering for you, right? Sunil, 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 Sunil. We're getting hype. Everybody's getting jacked up, right? And then they walk over and they hand you a microphone and they say, you've got 2 minutes. 2 minutes to drop some practical application wisdom on all of civilization, something that they can apply in their life today, this week, this month, this year. What are you going to tell them?
Well, my message is very, very simple. You are born with this thing called intuition that helps you with these signals. And these signals guide you to make sure that you make the right decision in any situation. Spend the time to figure out what those signals are. Spend the time to figure out how to manipulate the complex, the four types of intuition so that they work in your favor. And it's very, very simple. I don't need 2 minutes. Listen to those signals because every signal is going to take you to a decision that is the right one for you in any situation that you find yourself in, period.
Man, why do we sometimes we get the signals, we feel the signal, and then we're like, nah, we talk ourselves out of it, right? We talk ourselves into another direction. Why do we do that? How do we avoid that? And I know I said one more question, but now this is one
Yeah,
more
for
question
sure.
on top because I just got to know.
Yeah. So the biggest thing is fear. And so if you look at intuition from a scientific perspective, it hits the amygdala. This is the base, the fight or flight. So you're either going to be eaten by a saber-toothed tiger, which is a negative signal, or you're not. And that's a positive signal. And this is scientifically proven through MRIs. So if it's not a saber-toothed tiger, then that means that you have to. It's a positive signal. But the big thing is fear, and there's three types of fear: fear of failure, fear of change, fear of the unknown. We all want status quo. We're not. We even though your intuition is saying to go somewhere, it's uncomfortable. You haven't been there. But if it's a positive intuitive signal that's telling you to go in that direction because you've done your homework and you know it's a positive intuitive signal, that's where the doors of opportunity is, and you have to kind of go through that. You have to trust those signals to keep moving ahead, because that takes you to some great things. And I'll leave you with this case study from someone I interviewed named David Dame, who had cerebral palsy and has been in his wheelchair all his life. And this guy's been on beaches, and obviously he's never taken his wheelchair onto the beach because obviously his fear comes up that he's going to fall. And so the one time he says, my intuition is so strong, saying, I'm going to do it. So he wheels up to the edge of the water sand barrier, and he gets his friends to lift him up. And he says, oh, the dream is coming through. And he feels the water and the sand caressing his toes. And then his fear hits. He falls flat into the water on his face. And he's embarrassed. And he said, what are people going to think? And oh my God, what am I going to do? And he says to me, Sunil, there's two things I can do at that one moment. The one thing is I can succumb to the fear and sit in my wheelchair for the rest of my life and forever regret turning my dream into reality. I am physically right here. Or I can listen to my intuitive signal that's saying, David, get up and take a step in the water. And he did. And his intuitive signal said again, David, take a second step, and then take a third step. And he continued to walk in the water. And then the water gets up to his chin level, and then he turns around, and he was blown away by how far he came. And so this is why, that's what living in the present moment is. That's what happens when you listen to your intuition in the face of fear, because you yourself get blown away by how far you get in life. And those are the doors of opportunity that open up. And it doesn't matter what people think, because this is your journey, your intuition, your signals, your success.
Incredible, man. That's what I'm talking about. What a great story. Thank you so much for sharing that. And thank
Thank
you
you.
so much for being an expert in this area. Let's go, folks. Let's figure out how we can learn to listen to that intuition. It knows, it can guide us, it can take us in the right direction. Brother, so good to see you again this morning. I know you and I will continue to pop up on each other's radar for
Absolutely.
many moons to come. That shirt you're wearing, we're matchy today. I
Love
love
it.
your
Love it.
shirt.
Love it. Oh,
Looks good.
yes, yes, yes.
So thank you so much for being here with us today, my brother. I love you. I'm going to let you go, and I'm going to say goodbye to my friends over here, and you and I'll be in touch soon. That was awesome. Hey, I've got the coolest friends. I don't know if you knew that or not. I got the coolest friends ever. That was incredible. Make sure you connect with Sunil. Make sure you connect with him. If any of this resonated with you, if you felt something, you got an omen over your shoulder, you're like, I need to connect with this guy. There's something about what he's saying that's triggering in me. Make sure you connect with him. Super important. Hey, this has been a fun week on hashtag Rise and Grind. We'll be back next week. We're starting a new series next week. I think the series next week is I'm So Fancy, and we're going to dive into some of the behaviors and habits and success leaves clues of the rich and famous, right? We're going to dive into that a little bit next week. But until then, if you haven't done so already, make sure you grab your tickets to Grow Your Business for God's sake so you don't miss that event in November. Have an incredible, over-the-top, amazing weekend. Come join us over on Clubhouse, where we're going to be hanging out for the next 14 hours, I think it is. So we still got 14 hours left over on Clubhouse. Come hang out with us over there. But most importantly, go out there, continue to grow, continue to work on that understanding of your truth, right? Being exactly who you are, making sure that everything is in line and aligned so that people can trust you in that first 0.33. What did he say? 0.3. How fast do we have to earn their trust?
33 milliseconds, my friend. 33 milliseconds. That's it.
That's it. 33 milliseconds. That's all you got. So keep tapping into the authentic, real life, best version of yourself that you can possibly be. And then come back here Monday morning. We'll do this all over again on hashtag Rise and Grind. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you, my friend? How are you, my friend?